Peace, was popping. Brother Bridge here with a bolt of sun moon. Okay, so where we left off last time was pretty much uh we noted that a lot of the symbols that we see are pretty much, if not all of the geometrical shapes, damn near all of them are pretty much just representations of celestial movements, symbols like the pentagram, Solomon's seal, the Star of David. Like I said, damn near all geometrical patterns and signs, if not all of them, are representative of celestial movements. So a lot of the symbology that we see today are representative of celestial movements. The reason why celestial movements would be so important is because, well, okay, by looking at the alignment of stars and the planets and comets and stuff like that, you know, the celestial movements, by observing these celestial movements, the ancients, our ancestors, they knew the certain times, the best times for certain for results, to take advantage of certain energies. So as we said, if the holographic universe, well, if the stars, the celestial movements that we see are holographic and representative of what's taking place inside of us, it's safe to say that these celestial movements are indicators of opportune times to take advantage of certain things that are going on inside of us. Like when we see, okay, for example, the eclipse, or for example, the precession of the sun, when they say the sun goes into the underworld for you know, the whole Easter story. Okay, so that being the holographic sun, or the eclipse, the holographic sun with the holographic moon. Okay, so that would, it's safe to say that that would signify a change or an event taking place within yourself, where you can take advantage of these gateways or these energies. So that's why, you know, the early witches, they were considered witches because, you know, back in the day, people, the average person, didn't know how to read or write. You got to remember, after certain priesthoods or certain people took over society, you know, it went from a lot of this information being commonplace and being syncretism. That's what we're going to get into that. But it went from a lot of these sciences and practices, everybody knowing what these things were, to, you know, a few hundred years later, 1,000 years later, no one knows how to read or write. Okay, so a few hundred years ago, when they were talking about these witches and stuff, you know, you were talking about women and men who knew the movements of the stars, or they were astronomers, or, you know, they were scientists. They knew things that the average person didn't know, things that only the church or certain privileged families knew. So this type of information was supposed to be kept away from average individuals. So, you know, they had witch hunts, which was pretty much on Black people. You know what I'm saying? Hunts on Black people, Moors, which brought this information out of Egypt and into Europe and pretty much to the world. Okay, so all right, now on this channel, we observe magic from a scientific and syncretic point of view. There goes that word again, syncretic, syncretism. So for those of you who don't know what syncretism is, syncretism, the definition is an amalgamation of different religions, cultures, or schools of thought. An amalgamation of different religions, cultures, or schools of thought. So what Google is telling me is that, you know, syncretism is just an amalgamation of all these different schools of thought, different belief systems, scientific systems, all put together to create something new. But that isn't really what syncretism is. Syncretism is pretty much saying that for something to be true, then it will be true universally. For example, the story of Jesus, Horus, Buddha, Dionysus, the list goes on and on and on. Now, many similarities through these different mythologies and different cultures. However, the names may change in the mythologies, but the principles in the mythologies don't change. Dionysus, Horus, Buddha, all of these individuals are symbolic of the sun. So that would be an example of syncretism, that no matter where you go on this world, in this planet, study of the sun was done, and it was given a personality. It was given traits. These principles were given traits. They were given a personality, so that it would make the human mind easier to grasp these concepts. You know, the sun was given a name and a face named Jesus. It was given a name and a face named Horus or Amun-Ra for these specific purposes. But these different symbols still symbolize the same thing, the same principle. The principle doesn't change. It's universal. So that's what syncretism is. How the truth, no matter which way you look at it, is going to be the truth. There's no change in that. Whether it's mythologically, mathematically, spiritually, metaphysically, physically, so forth and so on. Okay, now, so we just touched base on syncretism and how for something to be true, it has to be true no matter where you apply it. If I have a system that works for me and I apply it with my livelihood, I apply my system with my livelihood, guaranteed, if I apply that same system to my personal relationship, my relationships with my family, my business partners, in school, in the workplace, if it works in one place, it'll work everywhere else. I'm going to give you an example. One system that I might be speaking of may be, I always treat you how I treat myself. I treat you how I treat myself. Now, if I apply that system with my children and I get excellent results, if I apply it anywhere else, I will get the same results. So that's how we can see the universal law, that universal law being applied. You know? Okay, so I hope that was pretty simple. I hope that was pretty simple. Let's see if I could come up with another example. Universal, how something would apply universally. I'm not gonna do anything to you that I don't want you to do to me. See what I'm saying? If I apply that in my job, I'll get the same effects, or even more simple. Even more simple. I will always strive to be excellent in everything that I do, just because, not because I want a pat on the back, or not because I want someone to tell me that it's a great job, or I want recognition for it, but simply because, just because I want to be the realest person that I know. No other reason. So if I'm doing that with my children, if I'm doing that with my wife, if I'm doing that with my friends in my workplace, if I'm doing that with my boss, if I'm doing this all the time, I'm always going to get the same results. The results are going to hold up true no matter where I apply this system. If the system is successful in one place, it will be successful in every place that I apply it. So that's one system. That's an example of a system saying that I want to be the realest person I know. So I strive to be excellent in everything that I do and not pick and choose. So that's one system of thought. Now, there are numerous systems of thought that we are talking about here with the ancients. You know, some individuals may be into Kabbalism. Some individuals may be into numerology or Kemetic scriptures, or Greek text, or the Nag Hammadi or Sanskrit text. However, you see that the principles do not change. No matter where you go into the different cultures, the principles are still the same. These symbols represent the exact same things, and they hold up true. So that is syncretism. You notice sync is in there, like synchronicity. Okay, so all right, let's move on. Now, another thing that will aid you in your magical practices is stop trying to make sense of things. See, the logical mind is incapable of grasping the universal mind state or the spiritual mind state. Logic. Now, when we say the logical mind, you know who we're talking about here. Okay, we know who we're talking about. See, logic is to separate and analyze, to take apart and look into and analyze. You know, that's the logical mind. Separate and label. Separate and analyze. Now, the African mind, or the universal mind, I blew it up too. Okay, so the logical mind is pretty much, I like to liken it to the European mind. And the African mind, I like to liken that to the universal mind. Bobby Hemmett mentioned how in the African tradition, how we would know certain body parts had similar frequencies to other animals' body parts. So instead of cutting open a person and doing surgery, they may be able to take the body part of I cannot remember, do not quote me, I'm saying, but just breaking down exactly the gist here. So instead of cutting open the person and doing surgery, they can take the heart of a chicken and work on it energetically, because it has the same frequency as the body part in this individual that you're working on. So you can manipulate the frequencies and heal the individual. That is the African mind, the universal mind, the quantum mind that sees the connection between everything in existence and seeing ourselves within that system of connection, that interconnection, that quantum system of everything in connection. So, okay, that is the logical mind and the spiritual mind. Okay, now magic is subtle. It's spiritual. So you know, there will be things that'll take place that are, you know, if you look at it logically, you're only gonna be getting in your own way. Pretty much, man. Do the work, don't ask no questions, and be happy with the results, man. I'm saying, just be glad you are who you are if you're getting these results. If you're not getting results, change your thinking. That's what we're here for. This is a study group. Fuck with me. Okay, so another example of that, the difference between a logical mind and the African mind, the simple, not simple-minded, okay, but the simple mind, like Dr. Sebi, keeping it simple, keeping it short and sweet, keeping it simple, smooth and simple, whatever. Now, Dr. Sebi always spoke of there being one disease instead of the thousands of diseases that we know of. Okay, and the one disease that Dr. Sebi spoke of was mucus. So if you attack mucus, if you treat mucus, you cure all disease. So that's another example of the universal mind, which was Dr. Sebi's simple approach to medicine, as opposed to the European mind, where they take the they look at the symptoms and label each symptom as a disease, when there's only one root cause for these numerous myriad symptoms. Okay, also, yeah, oh yeah, Bobby, brother Bobby also touched on that in the where he spoke on what we just talked about that. Now, okay, so melanin in the pineal gland are actually what connects you to the universe. These are the components that connect you to the universe in that quantum field. Melanin and your pineal gland. Okay. Your pineal gland is what is able to receive and interpret frequencies from beyond the 7 spectrum frequency that we are trapped in. So the pineal gland can download frequencies, higher level frequencies that are from outside of this 7 band spectrum of light. Roy G. Biv, red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, violet. The same colors as your chakras. The 7 band spectrum of light. Okay, so your pineal, these 2 eyes can decode the 7, everything within the 7 band spectrum. These 2 eyes can see. The pineal can see beyond the 7 band spectrum of light, or visible light. Let's just say that, visible light. I don't know where I was coming at with that, yo. All right. So the pineal is what can see beyond physical light. Now, okay. Melanin allows us to feel, because it is the greatest absorber of all frequencies. It's connected. It's your connection to everything. Okay? And it is the greatest absorber of all frequencies. The same way that they tell you wearing black in the sun is going to make you overheat. We did this experiment when I was in the 1st grade. We had a construction paper. We put ice on it. We had black construction paper, red, white, all these different color construction papers, put an ice cube on it. And the ice cube on the black construction paper, when left in the sun, when all of them were left in the sun, the construction paper, the ice cube on the black construction paper melted the fastest, because black absorbs light. Light is frequency, is energy. So melanin, being that dark matter, the blackness of the universe, the space in between everything. You see, when you have atoms, you have there's spaces between the electron, proton, and the neutron. In between those spaces, there's nothing holding together on these diagrams. Okay, so the space in between the proton, electron, and neutron, the nucleus and everything, that space would be dark matter. That would be melanin. That would be everything that the quantum field, the quantum space, everything that holds everything together. Because for you to see something, its complete opposite must exist, even if you don't see it. I'm going to give you an example. We have a sea, the oceans. Okay, so the sea exists. It's a sea that you can see. It's wet. The exact opposite of that sea exists as well, because this is the realm of duality. So you also have a sea of space that connects everything. Or you would call it air, a sea of air. Okay, let's move on. Okay, so melanin is the greatest absorber of all frequencies. Oh, and just a fun fact. The color white, and I'm not even into that whole black or white thing. But the truth is universal. So this is going somewhere. I don't deal with the whole black this, white that, like whatever. I'm an occultist. I don't deal with that whole fear, desire, good, bad, black, white. Like I stay away from that, man. I'm saying that's mind control. That's mind control. I'm saying I try to deal with the, not even try. I stay on the middle path. I don't deal with the choice. You know what I'm saying? I don't deal with the choice. I'm in the middle. You know what I'm saying? I control my own mind. So I'm in the middle. I am the demiurge. So, okay. So the fun fact, the color white reflects more light than a mirror. I didn't even understand that when I couldn't even get that. Reflects more light than a mirror. Okay. Now, the pineal gland has melanin inside of it. If your pineal gland doesn't have melanin inside of it, it is calcified. Doesn't work. Okay. Now, let's see what a calcified pineal gland looks like. Yeah. 1 minute. 1 moment. 1 moment, y'all. Bear with me. There we go. Okay, so this right here is the image. It's an image of a calcified pineal gland. Okay. Now, what calcifies a pineal gland is fluoride. Fluoride in the water, fluoride in your toothpaste. Fluoride calcifies your pineal gland. If the pineal gland is calcified, there's all kinds of side effects. A person is incapable of feeling. A person is incapable. And when we say feeling, we mean, you ever wonder how someone could drop a bomb on an entire city? It's like, how someone can, I don't know, dump toxic waste into a river or stream where, you know, there's all kinds of people living and need to they need this water to live, and there's all kinds of animals in the water, or you know how people can just hang hang and burn people at picnics while children eat ice cream and look at the festivities with smiles on their faces. A calcified pineal gland disconnects you from all, from the all. It disconnects you from, see, a calcified pineal gland is gonna disconnect you from everything, from the universe, from that quantum field. Not completely, but you wouldn't be able to identify, empathize. Empathize is the word that I'm, or maybe even sympathize. It knocks out that ability. Weaken immune system, just pretty much, man. Just, you know, just look around, man. You know what I'm saying? Look around. People that have melanin in their pineal glands, you know, you feel, man, you have soul. You know, you can feel the music. You know what I'm saying? When you're cooking, you don't need to measure. You can feel it. You feel it when you're cooking. Bow, pinch of that, dab of that. You feel me? You feel me? Okay, so a calcified pineal gland would actually impair your ability to be a part of that quantum field. It keeps you chained to the pit, for lack of a better term. You wouldn't be able to explore the higher realms of consciousness. You wouldn't be able to leave the earth. Okay? You'd be stuck here on earth. You wouldn't be able to access the other star systems in the holographic universe, which is symbolic of what's inside of you. So with a calcified pineal gland, you wouldn't be able to access the higher realms of consciousness, activate dormant DNA within yourself, making you the extraterrestrial, making you the X-Man. Calcified pineal gland deads all that. You have no soul. Pineal gland is your soul. Okay. Okay, and this is why fluoride is in the water supply to calcify your pineal gland. Shout out to Brother Panic, by the way, because his panic packs actually decalcify your pineal gland. You know what I'm saying? Word. Does wonders, man. I fuck with them panic packs. Saying, yeah. So all of this was touched on. Everything that we're talking about, these pineal glands, all of this was touched on in Dr. Francis Cress Welshing's ISIS papers. It was touched on lightly in the Iceman Inheritance. And a great book that it give you the bibliography of all of these, all of the places where you can find this information. It's an excellent book. It's called Blacked Out Through Whitewash by Suzar. Yeah, definitely need that in your life. Okay, so where all of this all begins, where this journey begins. Okay, oh, wait, as a matter of fact, before we even go into that, I want to share something with y'all. Show y'all a little something here. Hold on, let me see here. Pardon me, share something with y'all. A little something I ran across. Just to illustrate, just gonna illustrate a little bit about that, about the universal mind and that logical mind, the European mind and the African mind. Okay, so it's a little video that I came across. I want to share with y'all. Okay. Go. All right. Aren't you perceptive? You know exactly who I am and what I'm capable of. Just like I know exactly what you are, witch. I can smell the stink of it all. Well, I didn't expect you to like me. I mean, after all, your kind and my kind have been going after each other for centuries. Though it is kind of like a hammer going after a nail. Everything you got from us. Did you got voodoo slave girl who graced us with her black magic? She couldn't tell a love potion from a recipe for chocolate chip cookies if she had to read it. Made her a slave. Before that, she came from a Greek tribe, the Arawak. She learned the secrets of the other side from a 2,000-year-old line of shamans, necromancy. She gave it to your girls who saved her. A gift repaid with betrayal. Damn. Woo-hoo. Heavy. Some heavy shit going on there. Yeah. Yeah, my kind of shit. Listen. Did y'all pay attention to that? Man, that white girl said, gift from a slave girl that wouldn't know the difference between a chocolate chip recipe and a love potion. Little slave girl. Angela Bassett was like, you made her a slave. She learned all those secrets from 2,000 years of shamanistic knowledge. Get out of here with your dead language. Who gives a fuck about reading and writing with your logical mind? Logical mind with your European dead language. It's a dead language. Necromancy, nigga. Necromancy. That's why she loves y'all niggas, because y'all fucking dead language, dead motherfuckers. But they gave us their minds. So right now we are the dead people. But anyway, neither here nor there. My man, that was some powerful shit right there, man. Heavy shit, man. Homegirl couldn't read or write this English language, but she gave them, the witches of Salem, all their knowledge. So that means that this little slave girl was able to read the stars. She knew the movement of the stars to be able to do certain rituals and certain rites. She knew how to manipulate electromagnetic frequency. You see, the logical mind of the European, man, whatever. The logical mind, okay, is always going to deal with that separation, that it's not going to see the totality of everything. How one is not going to exist without the other. No, because the logical mind is out of touch. It's calcified. Can't feel. You feel me? All right, so moving right along. I just figured I'd share that with y'all. That was some heavy shit, man. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Patrick Bouvier. I hope I ain't fuck your name up if you even watching this. But anyway. Now, where your journey begins, okay? Where your journey begins, before you even get into the whole, technical process of magic, where your journey begins is with you. With you. Nothing outside of you, with you. Because at the end of the day, the only person getting results, whether you like them or not, is you. You're the one making the thoughts, the decisions. You're the ones with the results. Do you love the results? Do you not? That's all that matters. You. Now, how do you get into you? The heart chakra. That's why it's called the gateway chakra. So I would recommend, for me, what helped me before I was even on the into the occult was self-help books. And what I would notice once I got into the occult is that these self-help books were really giving me magical or certain rituals, because remember, a ritual is just a way to access your subconscious mind. So a lot of these self-help books, they give you these tasks to do, and these tasks you would notice them in certain rites, in certain when you're doing certain rites, it's like you would find the same type of process, the same type of things, tasks would be given you to do in Think and Grow Rich, and things of that nature. So one book, the very first self-help book that I read was Emotional Intelligence by Dan Goleman, Goleman. Emotional Intelligence, highly recommended by me. Emotional intelligence and working with emotional intelligence, how to use that in the workplace, and social intelligence. Now, emotional intelligence is knowing how you feel and why you feel that way at all times. How do you feel right now? And don't say happy or sad, because that's not a feeling. You would say, okay, you have to really get introspective. Okay, how do I feel right now? I feel excited. I'm dejected. I'm optimistic. Why? Why do you feel that way? You know, going internally and at any moment of the day, just doing this is a great practice, because knowing yourself, knowing how you feel and why you feel that way at all times is another way of you taking control back of your mind. It's like cyclomancy for those of you who that's another topic though. But it can be likened to cyclomancy, using your conscious mind to manipulate your body, to manipulate your using your conscious mind to manipulate your auto functions, to manipulate your feelings, to manipulate how you feel, to manipulate your metabolism, to manipulate, all those senses, your five senses. Emotional intelligence is a great way of manipulating your response mechanism. Instead of reacting to situations, you would respond. You would be more in tune with your decision-making process, with your emotional processes, with that whole subtle, it's fine-tuning your subtle senses, because remember, magic is subtle. Magic is subtle. I plan on taking on Panics class too, so I can learn how to speak to spirits. But I feel that I'm already contacting spirits. But when they communicate, in the beginning, I didn't know I was doing it, because when they communicate, I didn't understand. I didn't really know they were communicating. It's very subtle. So, getting in tune with your emotional processes and your thinking processes is one way of definitely helping with that. And emotional intelligence, I would recommend it. By the way, the guy who wrote Emotional Intelligence, I read this book, Ram Dass. It was a book on Sanskrit, Hindu teachings, yoga, all that kind of stuff. And the guy who wrote it, Ram Dass, who was a yogi and enlightened Yogi something or other. He mentioned that one of the guys that one of his college buddies that he went to one of these camps with in the beginning of his journey was Dan Goleman, who wrote the Emotional Intelligence series. So that whole series of books actually came out of Sanskrit teachings. Like a lot of these self-help books, Tim Robbins, is it Tim Robbins? Awaken the Giant Within. I'm probably messing his name up. Tim Robbins? Whatever. Awaken the Giant Within. Think and Grow Rich. All of these guys, the further I looked into it, I actually noticed that Napoleon Hill, who wrote Think and Grow Rich, that book series is actually set Typhonian magic. And as we all know that Freemasons worship Kemetic sciences or chemistry. Okay. So emotional intelligence and knowing who you are, how you feel, and why at all times. Very important. See, that's how you can feel. That's how you can feel. Remember, melanin gives you the ability to feel. Your pineal gland gives you the ability to decode, to see beyond the visible spectrum of light, because in this realm, there's only seven colors in this spectrum of light. Okay, but there is no limit. There is no limit to anything, meaning there is no limit to colors. There are many more colors that you can't even see with these two eyes, but you see it with this one. Okay? Your soul, your pineal gland, the silent observer that records your many lifetimes of experiences through emotion, through feeling. Your pineal gland, your soul, records your many lifetimes through your feelings. That's why you can remember how it was, when you were 5 years old and your favorite cartoon came on. You got your favorite cereal, you got your favorite toy, at Christmas. Through feeling. That's how your soul records memories through many lifetimes. Okay, so that is how you can feel the spirits talking to you. Emotional intelligence. You got to get that under control. These are things that you set out on your own. You got to get these things under control. If you want the results, you got to do the work. And this is the work right here. Okay, now using that melanin and pineal, that intuition, your spider sense or the sixth sense, will give you access to the subtle planes. Okay, you will be given access to the subtle planes if you hone this skill. You could do that through meditation and cyclomancy. Cyclomancy is a book that's out of print. I have a PDF. I have a PDF. It's missing a page. I can make it available for y'all. But Brother Panic has that PDF available as well. So let's see here. Yeah, meditation and cyclomancy. So heart chakra work will bring you back to your thoughts. You know what I'm saying? You'll notice. How do you feel? You know what I'm saying? Ultimately, everything is rule dictated by your thoughts. The universe is mental. Your awareness, concentration, and meditation are all tools. They're the tools that you need to use, that you need to keep sharp. Your awareness, your concentration, and meditation. Through awareness, because all of us are aware, all of us are alive. So that's a level of awareness. However, there are times when we are not aware. It's human nature. Your awareness, okay, is your number one tool. So how do you sharpen that tool? Through concentration. Your second tool. There was a time when I used to always find myself in some messed up situations. Wondered how I found myself in these messed up situations. Had to stop, think, what got me here? Work my way backwards, figured out what got me there. It got to a point where before I would even do anything or say anything, I would have to stop and concentrate. I would have to stop and concentrate. And at the time, I would ask myself, what would the realest person that I know do? Somebody, this is the crazy part too. The realest person that I knew wasn't even myself at the time. So it was, I found myself in a what would Jesus do type of situation. It wasn't Jesus. It wasn't Jesus. That wasn't the realest nigga I knew. You know what I'm saying? But it's tantamount to the Christians in their turn. What would Jesus do? You see? So anyway, before I would say anything, before I would do anything, I would concentrate. Okay, what would this individual that has the results out of life that I want, what would they do? And I would approach the situation in the manner that I felt this individual would approach the situation. Eventually, what happened is I gained confidence in my decision making, because there were incidents where this revered individual that I looked up to would ask me, hey, why'd you handle it like that? I wouldn't have done it like that. And I'm like, I'm not you. But I still got the results that you would have got. Like, yeah, you got the results I would have got. You see, this individual is hyper aggressive. Hyper aggressive. Hyper aggressive. You know what I'm saying? Me, I'm not. You know, but I got the results. And that's when it hit me like, okay. All right. Results number one, but my awareness, see the situation, saying, concentrate. What are the results that you want out of the situation? And then approach accordingly. You know what I'm saying? Meditation is very important because it's strengthening your mind. Meditation is strengthening your mind, taking control of your mind. What do you want in your thinking pattern? What do you want in your headspace? You know, hey, big ass, hell, that mosquito get in here. Yeah, so, you know, learning how to control your own headspace, that's meditation right there. And as I said in previous videos, man, meditation, number one for occultists, number one, meditation. Number one rule, can't stress that. But yeah, man, these habits right here, being aware, focusing on your awareness, concentrating on that awareness to get the results that you want, meditating on the results that you want and how to get those results. Those habits right there will reprogram your subconscious mind. And reprogramming your subconscious mind is magic. Definition of magic. I'm saying, well, yo, that's enough for the day, man. Appreciate y'all. Love y'all. Brother Bridge, Aboda Samoon. Peace.